Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, dudes and dudes. Sunday afternoon. I know. I used to do a lot of videos in the morning. Now I'm doing one off. And this video, arguably, is probably going to be the most important principle. And I believe personally, again, arguably, this principle will make you invincible. You want to find out about it? Stay with me until the end of the video. And also I have an announcement regarding the channel that will also come at the end of this video. Now, this video is originally a response to John Zalanda. Shout out to John, one of my subscribers. I should really say my other subscriber. I only have 2 subscribers at this stage, which is amazing. Thank you guys for supporting, and I'm glad that you're actually watching and enjoying the videos and hopefully taking benefit from it. He wrote a comment on my previous video saying that he's been into self-development lately a lot and is enjoying it. He's learning a lot of truth about the world, and also that he believes that this world is trying to find answers by materialism, and he doesn't believe that that is the answer to our questions. And I am with you on that one, John. And also that he mentioned that one of the truths that he has learned recently is to wake up, basically waking up expecting pain. And he said it would be cool if I could elaborate on that one. So that's the reason I'm making this video. And I've learned a lot. Basically, it took me a while, and I apologize to John for that. But I really wanted to do my research before I put out the content in regard to your question for that topic. I found a lot that and I got notes here, and I'm gonna go through. I actually broke this up into 3 principles. First, like three different sections, if you may. And first of all is expecting pain versus hoping for pain, and I will elaborate on that one. Second is that why we have to go through pain and struggles, and lastly is how you're going to put this into practice. And this is one thing, this is very off topic, but with my videos and with my content on my blog as well, my aim and my strive is to put practical content out there. I do not really care much about the technicality. So if I'm not true to the Stoicism school, I apologize to you, and at the same time I do not care. Okay, and I hope you don't as well, because too much technicality is going to take away from the practicality, and that's what I believe. Don't make it complex, make it simple. Whatever works for you, do it. If it does, then discard it if it doesn't. As simple as that. So don't make it too difficult for yourself. That's what I believe. You can believe whatever you want and roll with it. All right, let's get to this video. First of all, his comment basically was, please elaborate on waking up expecting pain. And a lot of people, especially if they're not exposed to Stoicism or that school of thoughts, when you talk about the idea to them, and straight away they say to you that, oh, you're just going to be negative then. You tell me that you're going to go into any given situation, expect pain. So this is basically the same thing as saying, I am hoping for pain, is it? Like you're going into this with a negative mindset, and how do you expect a positive outcome? It is far from that. Those, unfortunately, if you haven't done your homework, that's what the first impression that you're going to get from this school of thoughts. I am extremely passionate about this because I've seen and I've experienced, even before I was exposed to it, I've experienced that this is the truth, and this is the principle that arguably, once again, it would make you invincible. And I'll tell you how. So it's not that you're expecting, it's not that you're hoping for pain. It's more like that you're expecting, and even more than expecting is that you're anticipating for pain. And we all know that pain, it actually can be in anything, and it's out there, and ignoring the fact that there are bad people and there are bad events that is going to happen, and it will happen, and it has happened in your life, in your business, in your relationship, in your friendships, is not going to make them go away. If you walked into your garden and you can see the weeds are taking over, if you kept saying to yourself that there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, this is Tony Robbins' example, that's not going to make him go away. The positive affirmation is not going to make him go away. You got to deal with it. You got to acknowledge it, realize that there are going to be weeds, they are going to take over your garden of mind, the garden of business, garden of relationship, if you don't look after them on a daily basis. Okay, some tasks requires daily attention, some tasks require weekly attention, some require monthly attention, whatever that works for that task. But you have to acknowledge that there is weed and deal with it. So this is the same thing. You're going to anticipate. Tony Robbins says, he says the ultimate power is anticipation. Losers react. Leaders anticipate. That alone will make you ahead of your competition. That alone will make you be 1 step, 2 step, 10 steps ahead of everybody else that's trying to make it and trying to compete with you in anything. And I tell you, like, it works in any basically field. If you're an athlete, you're a boxer in boxing, you don't want to step into a ring and all of a sudden you get punched in the nose and freak out. You stop blood gushing out of your face and you're, oh my God, what? That's the reason that you put yourself through that training, through the principle, through the practices. Now, through that pain. It works the same for relationships. You don't want to be in a relationship and not look after it, not anticipate, keep waiting until everything goes south, and then you wonder, why did that happen? Because you didn't do your homework, because you weren't true to your own game, you weren't anticipating, you weren't studying, you weren't you weren't training. Same thing with business, same thing with friendship. Anything, you anticipate the pain. You don't hope for the pain. Okay, I want to make that very, very clear. Now, number 2 would be why pain, and why do we have to go through stuff? Can I not just sit on the couch and enjoy my movie and at the same time I grow? Well, I hate to burst your bubble, but no, you cannot. You cannot be the number 1 boxer or MMA fighter or cyclist or athlete or speaker or relationship in a really good relationship if you don't do your homework, if you don't do your practice. That's a no-brainer. But the fact that they are painful, we tend to stray away from that, and it's in anything. If you have a business, those cold calls that you have to do to your clients, you think you're going to get rejected. That is painful. Rejection is always painful. Because of the pain, you don't do it. You think you're going to get punched in the face. If you go train, you don't go. You think you're going to go through physical pain, you're going to have muscle aches. You don't do it. You don't step into. But the fact is that pain, that struggle is necessary. Arnold Schwarzenegger says that. He says, now, strength doesn't come from winning. Your strength basically your struggles are what develops your strength. I think this is the quote that he said. Your struggles develop your strength. We all know the most famous saying, right? What doesn't kill you make you stronger. Okay? As cliche as it sounds, but that is the principle. Seneca says struggles strengthen the mind as hard labor does the body. We all know that. You have to go through those stress, pressure. Diamond, that we have a saying, famous Persian saying, is that diamond, you need that pressure on carbon to make the diamond. So without that pressure, without that struggle, let's say, carbon was going through struggle and now it's turned into a diamond. You want to be priceless, you want to be valuable, you're going to have to go through struggles. And not much of the, in a conventional way, going through struggle, not much of a, the suffering and pain, but doing the things that pain you despite the feeling of pain. That is the principle. So now, and this principle can be applied, and that's why in the beginning of the video I said, if you learn and apply and be true to this principle, arguably this alone will make you invincible in anything there is that you're going into. Let's imagine in a business, your competition, your competitor is how good they are and how competitive they are is defined by a few factors that your business runs upon. Let's say you're running a mortgage broking business. Let's say you're running a real estate business, right? Those cold calls, find the most painful part of your business. Those cold calls, those looking after the clients, calling them and finding out where they are, what they want, go through those rejections is probably the number one factor that sets you apart in that business, makes you successful, most successful in that business. Now, the idea is you feel the pain. It is painful, right? But you do it despite the pain. You do it against the storm. You're still gonna stay in the game. And I'll give you an example. And I believe that everybody knows the answer to this question. I'm just about to ask you a question, but I think you intuitively know the answer to this question. Have you ever tried to achieve something and you failed? What was the reason for that failure? People say, money, I didn't have the time, I didn't have the right manager, or I didn't have the right team, or my employees were lazy, and bankruptcy, a financial crisis hit, I got sick. The bottom line is, all those reasons, the bottom line is that you quit. And why did you quit? And I know you agree with me on that one. Bottom line is that you quit. And again, when you ask people why you quit, there's again a bunch of different answers, right? But again, the bottom line is that it became too painful. You couldn't bear the pain anymore. Therefore, you said, "Nah, stuff it. I can't do it anymore." Right? That's why I'm gonna quit. I'll give you a very, very simple example. And like Tony Robbins gives the example of, babies walking, right? Babies walking. I don't remember how I got to actually walk. I walk. I've been walking for the last many years. So, but I don't remember what happened. But what I do remember, and I'll give you an example, and I hope that, I think a lot of people will relate to this. Of course, it's about driving. So if you drive, you will relate to this. First time you sat at a wheel in a car, how was that experience? Was that painful? Driving is a complex task, right? You have to keep an eye on the road. You have to indicate. You have to look, shoulder check. You have to, if you're driving a manual car, you have to shift gear at the same time. Geez, you have to step on the brake. You have to accelerate. You have to deaccelerate. Then you have to look after the oncoming traffic, and you're gonna have to pedestrian. It is atrocious. Probably, arguably, is a very complex task. You agree with me on that one? First time, you had a bad experience. It was painful, right? It was hard. You couldn't do it. Are you a good driver right now? If you are, I ask you, and I want you to answer, right now, everybody watching this video, tell me, what happened that you became a good driver? The task of driving didn't become any easier, did it? It didn't become, any less complex. They didn't come to you and say, oh, by the way, you don't have to steer anymore. Well, now with Tesla, yes, we are. You don't have this self-driving car, but I'm talking about driving, all right? So I just get distracted here. But the driving itself didn't become any easier, didn't become any less complex. You still have to do everything. But right now, you probably don't even think about it. Jump in the car, start the car, and on you go. And you are a good driver. You probably go off at some other drivers that you think they are bad at the same time, right? But what happened? You stuck to it. Despite the pain, you went after you went to the lessons after the other, or if you were learning it from your friend, your family. My dad used to take me for driving, and I believe I'm a good driver now. Knock, touch wood, haven't had an accident, be at fault. But the reason that I believe is because I went through that struggle, and my dad probably wasn't the best instructor. I should say he was a very good instructor. He wasn't the most patient instructor, and we used to go for driving for 3 hours. He would swear at me for 5 hours, and we would come back, But going through that struggle, that pain, made me a good driver eventually. And how many of us know people that they used to drive but they don't drive anymore because they had a dramatic experience, maybe a bad accident or something happened, and they stopped, and as a result they can't drive now, right? So the key is doing it in spite the pain, and this alone will make you invincible in a relationship, in a friendship, in a business, in whatever the job that it is you're doing, in your training. This is what I believe, that. And this is many autobiographies, many case studies, business case studies can vouch for what I'm saying right here. You can do your own homework. You don't believe me. This alone will make you invincible. You don't give up. You don't stop. You go through the pain. You still feel the pain. It doesn't become any easier, the pain. Maybe in a sense it has, because you develop more tolerance to it, but the pain is still there. You still get punched in the face, it still hurts, but probably because you're familiar with that. And this is another key. The key is to make yourself familiar with that pain. Then what to do, Mr. Captain Obvious? Number 3 that I have here is that you basically develop that tolerance. And I believe right now, with everything that I've been exposed to and read, Stoicism and the Stoic mindset provides that the best practical way possible. And I am extremely excited about this, that I found it, and I am going to apply, and I have been applying, and I am I've been seeing the results in this, the massive results, the massive changes that happen in my life, in my business. Before this is the idea of inflicting pain upon yourself voluntarily. So, as you know, the Stoic mindset, they promote sleeping on the floor every now and then, fasting, familiar yourself with the feeling of starvation, which is by far, and you can read this on many different actors that went for different roles that they had to do. And by far, they said this feeling of starvation by far was the most overwhelming and most difficult thing that we've ever had to deal with in our life, right? Now, how do we do it? Now, obviously, you're not sadistic. You don't put yourself through deliberate pain with no reason. Stoicism promotes that, yes, but it's structured, planned, and followed on a daily or regular basis. Okay, that's what makes it practical, and you can use it in anything, right? So I'll give you an example. Physical side of it, the most simple and readily available is the physical side of it. And in Stoicism, they promote cold showers. Cold showers, you do it despite the pain. It's painful. It's like you're gonna freeze. It's hard. You don't want to do it. You know how many times I've tried when you turn the tap on and you turn it to cold, freezing cold. And you just stand there for, I know you're wasting water, but you just stand there for 5 minutes and you will go through all this. Oh my God, why do I do this to myself? You do it despite the fact, and despite the pain, despite the fact that it's painful, after you're finished, you'll feel like, my first initial reaction to that is, it wasn't that bad, was it? I feel refreshed now, it's pretty good, I feel good. That's one key, actually. The pain in our head, the perception of pain, our perception of pain is more than it actually is in reality. We make it way worse for ourselves, right, in our heads. And that's what stops us from taking that initiative and go and, act in spite of that pain. What happened? That was the physical side, right? What about business, right? Like I told you, identify those painful tasks that majority of the people in the same field business that you are in, they're not willing to do because it is painful, okay? And Do it on a daily basis. In relationship, what's the most painful that you have to deal with? Go study it and go do it. And this alone will make you invincible, I believe. It was a physical, in a business, in a relationship, and it can be applied to anything. Now, regarding the channel, I'm thinking of changing the name of the channel to Human Engineering rather than Heroes of a Teacher. Running out on my space on the phone right now, so I'm not going to prolong this anymore. Shout out to John. I hope this helps, brother. I have you on my mind. If you have more questions, let me know. You guys have a fantastic day. This has been your host, Captain Obvious. If you find anything more interesting, let me know down in comment section below. I don't really care about the likes or dislikes. Just comment. All right. Captain Obvious signing off. I'll see you again in another video. Bye.